Good afternoon, everyone. We're a few hours north of Los Angeles, out here in the wide open, empty desert, a little bit south of Death Valley National Park. I'm on my way to meet up with a couple of other YouTubers to camp tonight and do some adventuring, and I wanted to stop and see a couple things along the way. The first one being this, the X-15 and Major Michael Adams Memorial. The X-15 was a rocket plane developed in the 50s and 60s. It could fly at something like Mach 7 and at an altitude of 60-something miles, just crazy. It could fly so high that some of its pilots were considered astronauts. They were called astronauts, and here's a list of all of them. But it's this guy that we're here about, and by the way, this is what the X-15 looked like. Basically, yeah, a rocket. Here are some other pictures to give you an idea of what it looked like. And it was launched from a huge airplane, a B-52, and then it would accelerate up to, Mach whatever, and then go to the edge of space. Its highest recorded flight, look at this, 3,500 miles an hour, 266,000 feet, just crazy. And so anyway, to make a long story short, this guy, Michael Adams, was flying the plane, and there were some problems with the plane that stemmed from an electrical current arcing when it shouldn't have been, and that caused some of the instruments to not work. Ultimately, he lost control of the plane, it broke up in the air, and it crashed here. That's what this site is commemorating. And that happened on November 15th, 1967. There is a tremendous amount of information here. I can't just read or even summarize all of this for you guys, but this is a cool site, definitely worth visiting. I was vaguely aware that this aircraft even existed, but this talks a lot more about the plane itself, about Michael Adams, about the accident, and then about how the monument came to be, among other things. Actually, I guess there's one more thing I wanted to mention. This is all super interesting. Apparently the edge of space was considered to be 50 miles up, or at 264,000 feet. And the sign here talks about how many of the flights that these guys did passed that barrier. So how many astronaut qualification flights did they do? So this guy did 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, and then Michael J. Adams, he had 1. I assume there are pictures of all of these online. I will try to find them and link to them down below in the description of this video. Otherwise, I'm gonna take pictures of these, and if I can't find them, I will upload them myself. Oh, and I just realized there's a very famous name on here, one Neil A. Armstrong. Interesting that he didn't have an astronaut qualification flight, but I mean, we know how that ended up for him. And if you missed the previous video, the Element just got a suspension overhaul. It now has been lifted a few inches. It has new all-terrain tires, and so I'm ready to drive deeper into the desert and put it to the test a little bit today. So this is a really neat little roadside stop. I wasn't planning on stopping here, but I drove past it and I thought, this is too good to pass up. I have been here before. I think I made a video that included this and the place that we're spending the night tonight, the place we're camping, 9 years ago. I've been on YouTube. This year will be 10 years on YouTube, believe it or not, for me. Anyway, this is called Fish Rocks. And this was initially painted in the 1940s by an artist, and then people over the decades have just continued to keep it up and refresh the paint. And it's so fun. You can see this from the highway out here, and it's like these angry eels just kind of clustered together and sneering and snarling at anyone who passes by. So cool, so fun. And whenever I come to a spot like this after not having been there for a long time, my mind just automatically goes back to, okay, what has happened in the last, in this case, 9 years? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 9 years ago, Cassie and I were dating. We were not married. We got married 8 years ago, and we were living in Utah. Since then, we've moved a couple of times. We've bought a house. We've gotten a dog. Like all kinds of huge life changes, and it's fun to look back and use these physical locations as sort of mental mile markers in your life. At least that's how it works for me. I'm obviously a very place-oriented, location-oriented person, and I have memories attached to all kinds of places in this part of the country. All right, guys, welcome to what I think is one of the great American free camping destinations. We are at Trona Pinnacles. I made a video here a long time ago, again, like 9 years ago, but it is just such an epic place. I forgot how cool this place is. It's bigger than I remember, like it's more extensive than I remember. Just tons and tons of these tufa formations. What a crazy place. And I'm here, you might have noticed, with a couple other Element owners. You met these guys a little bit in the previous video. We're here with Steven from In My Element and Miguel from Element Lifestyle. We've just been talking elements and filming elements. And the sun has set, but we have a few late rays of sun lighting up the mountain over there. Just such a beautiful place. The shadows, the textures of the landscape, it's unbelievable. And I love how you can see every nook and cranny of that mountain is visible right now. It's a little bit windy out here and the temperature has dropped dramatically, probably a good, I don't know, 20 degrees since we got here a couple hours ago. But the plan for tonight, I think, is to make dinner. They're gonna make dinner. I will assist in whatever capacity I can. You guys know, if you're familiar with the channel, I don't really cook. I don't like cooking. On my trips, I just eat sandwiches mostly. But tonight, I think they're planning some grilling some meat or something like that. So that'll be fun, and we'll have a nice chat around the barbecue. And then tomorrow, I think the plan is to get up early-ish and go climb up one of the mountains, one of the little large hills over here. Morning, guys. It is a beautiful one out here. What a cool place. What a wild place. It's so fun to wake up and look out the window and see this. In my mind, there are two super iconic free camping areas in California that you see all the time in
social media campaigns and commercials. One of them is Alabama Hills up by Lone Pine and Mount Whitney, on the way to Mount Whitney, with those big granite boulders that you can park right next to and camp. But this is the other one. Trona Pinnacles is just instantly recognizable. You've probably seen it somewhere in the past, and it's really cool. And there are tons of free campsites out here. Yesterday I drove around before the other guys got here, and I saw like 2 other campers. We're here midweek, which definitely helps, but there was one Sprinter van kind of on the far side, and one truck camper kind of in the middle, and then we're on the other side, and so we're super spaced out. It's beautiful. It's beautiful weather out here. The temperature has been good. It's been very windy. At least last night was very windy. I think most of that has died out now, but yeah, this is definitely one of those camping places that you've got to add to your bucket list. Like if you do have a campsite bucket list, this has to be up at the top, or at least near the top.
I want to see if I've scratched up, if I've dinged up the skid plate yet. I don't think I have. The road a little bit, no, I think it's just superficial. All of that. The road getting out here is pretty good, like to Trona Pinnacles in general. But the road getting out to this particular spot was a little bit more rough. There were a couple of deep sand sections that were fun, and some rocky sections, some little climbs. It was great. You know, nothing too crazy, but I was definitely glad to have the extra ground clearance of my now modified Element. But Steven's Element, I think, is fairly stock, except for bigger wheels, bigger tires, and he made it out here just fine. And if I were trying to be a really great car camping overlanding YouTuber, and if I wanted to show off my awesome new swivel seat, I'd have this shot with me holding a hot beverage in my hand this morning, enjoying the view. But I'm a little bit lazy this morning, and I don't think I even brought a stove with me to heat up water, so pretend that's what I'm doing right now. All right, guys, Miguel has been helping me diagnose and fix a little problem I've been having. So sometimes if the car hasn't been running for a while, like overnight, for example, I start it in the morning and it needs to run for a few minutes before I actually drive it. Otherwise, it'll just kind of stop. And so he said that's the idler control valve, likely. And there are a couple of ways to fix that. First is just replace the thing, which we're obviously not going to be doing here. But he's got a hammer and a piece of pipe in his hand right now. He said that if you knock it, basically, if you hit it while it's running, that can like loosen up the clog inside. So that's what we're doing right now.
Here, this is just to grab the cable. I have to move it so I can put the hammer.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it like this.
Okay.
I want to test it out when we come back. And
okay. Okay. We're now troubleshooting something else. I tried to install a 12-volt socket in the back, and it didn't work. So Miguel's is figuring that out for me.
Oh, I see. Well, this one is just, look, this is not doing anything here.
Oh.
It's not really a connection. So, and that's the new one. So you maybe you misplaced it in the wrong place. That's my guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. That was in the wrong place.
Okay.
Now you
perfect.
got it.
Beautiful. So now I can charge the Jackery right here directly from that. So right now it's plugged into this red extension cord, and this runs all the way up to the front socket. And so now this can go, I can eliminate the extension cord, and this can go directly into the wall right here. Sweet. It's 9:30 now, and we're about to leave camp and go for a hike in the hills in this area adjacent to the Pinnacles. But before that, I wanted to show you guys a quick tour of both Miguel's and Steven's Elements. So this is Miguel's 2004 Element, same color scheme as mine, the orange, same generation as mine. Miguel, how many Elements have you had?
that I drove before, around 7 or 8.
7 or 8. When did you get your first one?
It was almost 5 years ago.
Nice. That's great. So what's your favorite thing about your setup in here? You've got your bed over on this side and you've got the storage on both sides. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is the Hero's Hot Rod swivel seat.
Yeah.
It just opens so much space.
Do you have both seats swiveling or just the driver's?
I do have both of them. But right now, as you see, I'm transporting a box.
Oh yeah, the box right there.
Yeah, which usually doesn't live there, but
And then the cabinet on the right side here, that's from Fifth Element.
that's
right?
from Fifth Element. That's a new addition. I've been using it for a year. I love it.
And then this one on the other side.
This one was made one of my YouTuber's friend. He has a channel and he builds like Toyotas, Honda Elements, and he did this for me.
Very nice. And the on the top here, you have something else. You have an e-camper. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it used to be made by Ursa Minor. They stopped making it, I think, last year on December, but I love it. It's a great add-on for the Honda Elements, especially if you are 2 people camping.
So it's basically like a permanent rooftop tent that you can actually access from the inside, right?
That's correct. You can go from the existing moonroof that most Element has.
Yeah, that is really cool. And you were telling me earlier that even when it's just you on the road, you use that space for storage.
Yes, since I'm driving most of the times by myself, I don't really sleep on the Ursa Minor, but I remove the cushions and you can store a lot of things there. I have a TV projector, all my sun visors for the windows, clothes, jackets, my sleeping bag live there.
And normally these cost, when these were still being sold, how much did these cost to get them installed?
I think they were around $8,500 to $9,000 to have them installed.
Pretty expensive. But
Yeah.
you bought this Element with that on top for how much?
$5,200.
That's crazy. What a deal.
It was a good deal, yeah.
So what is it about the Element that that you like so much? I mean, you've had a bunch of them. Your channel is dedicated to Elements. Why?
I will say 2 things are my favorite things. The K24 engine, bulletproof engine, and easy to fix. And the other one will be the space. The space is just amazing.
Yeah, if you've never been in an Element before, it's hard to describe just how spacious and practical this space really is. It's really unlike anything else on the market. And so even though these cars haven't been made since, what is it, 2011?
Yes,
Was the last year?
that's correct.
They're still just such great cars for car camping. So thanks, thanks Miguel. Great setup.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And then here is Steven's next door in this awesome khaki color, which was made just 1 year, right?
That's right.
What year was it?
This is 2005, the only year they made this color.
It's beautiful. So tell us about your setup. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so it's pretty basic. Basically, all I did was I took a very small mattress. I think it's like 2 or 3 inches of foam, and I just laid it on the raw like bed of the camper itself. And then
You removed the seats, right? You removed the rear seats.
Yes. I removed the rear seats, and that allowed me to install the 2 Fifth Element cabinets, which I absolutely love. These things are killer. The store is just like random electronics here. All my window shades in here. All my clothes are in here. Then on this side, I have like a little pantry. All of my dancing clothes go on this side. Books. Yeah, I love it. The other thing I love is the Hero's Hot Rod swivel seat. That thing's just such a game changer. Like I sit back there and I'll like work on my videos or just, eat lunch or whatever. Yeah, it's awesome.
And you've got both of them swivel or just the passenger?
Yeah, they both swivel, but for the majority of the time, unless I'm traveling with somebody, I'll leave them like one is not swiveled and one is swiveled,
And you have 2 Elements, and so does Miguel, actually. They both have 2 Elements. So that tells you how much these guys like this car. You have, what's your setup like in the other one? Is it similar?
So my setup in the other one is kind of similar to yours, where I have kind of a platform here, only the driver's side swivels, and then I have a cabinet on this side.
Gotcha.
So, and I use this seat, which folds flat all the way, as an extension of my bed, so I can lay flat with plenty of space.
So I'll ask you the same question that I asked Miguel. What is it about the Element that you like so much?
Well, I live at a mine, so it's like having the space is just incredible. When I originally got it, I wanted something that was like big and flat, but that wasn't a minivan. So I just ended up stumbling on the Element. And yeah, after that, everything just became, it just went out of control. I was like, oh, this is a really cool car. And one of my favorite parts, I think, is, especially with this setup, is like I can sit and like I've got just a ton of space just to hang out inside of the Element, you know?
Super cool setups, and my channel is not becoming a Honda Element channel, just like it never became a Land Cruiser channel or anything like that. I like all vehicles, basically I like all SUVs, but I did want to show these guys to you. You can go check out their channels if you want to see their the full tours of their rigs. I'm sure they've got several of them on each of their different setups, and yeah, just again, great car, love this car. So let's go hit the road and hit the trail. Alrighty, I believe we're hiking up one of these, but check out this view behind me. Look at this skyline of all the pinnacles out there. That is so cool. What an amazing area. Check out the view from up here, guys. Look at the view of the pinnacles down there. They look so cool, so weird. And then the car where we parked is over, let's see, out there in the middle. And from there we hiked up kind of across the flat area over here, and then up one of these ridges, and then up to the top. It took about an hour and a half to get up here. Looking more to the north, we have these big salt flats. This is looking towards Death Valley. And then to the northwest, we've got the Sierras. I'm not sure what this one right here is, but this one right here is Olancha Peak. It's about 12,000 something, so that one's got to be at least as high, if not higher. Surprisingly awesome little hike. I don't know if it gets much better than this for a quick hour and a half out on the trail. Steven, what'd you think?
It was dope. It wasn't a 1 mile like Tristan said, but it was dope.
I didn't know how long it would be. 1 mile, 2 miles, it's not bad either way.
It was a Tristan mile, which is equivalent to 2 miles in Miguel's mile. Yeah, it was epic.
And then as far as stats go, it was 2.16 miles, took an hour and 31 minutes with 738 feet of elevation gain. This little mountain is called End Benchmark, I think. Let me double check that. Yeah, End Benchmark. Elevation 2,618 feet. Not a super inspiring name for a mountain, but yeah, I was looking for a little hike that we could do that was sort of near the pinnacles and hopefully had a nice view on the top and wasn't anything too crazy, wouldn't take too long. So I was just looking, at a map, looking to see what was around here. I saw this. I looked up the name of it online, found a guy who had done this hike and recorded a GPS track, and I saw that online. So I thought, be worth a shot. And yeah, turned out great. And speaking of benchmarks, Miguel just found this. So a benchmark is basically a mountain that's used to measure other mountains. And so the US Geological Survey comes up here and it puts these on top, and this is it. What a great day. What a fun time hanging out with Miguel and Steven. We came off of the mountain. We had some lunch. Steven made some chorizo and eggs, and it was delicious. And then we spent the afternoon working, basically. We filmed a couple of videos for Steven's channel. We did a tour of my element, and then also an interview with me, a podcast interview with me for his podcast. So I'll put links to those down below if those are currently available. While Steven and I were doing that, Miguel was filming some product review videos. So it was just a fun afternoon in a beautiful place getting some work done. And so we said goodbye to each other at Trona Pinnacles. I then drove about an hour north toward Death Valley, and I found this great campsite. The sun has already set in those mountains behind me, but it's still just barely lighting up the mountains across the valley. These mountains are actually in Death Valley National Park. The edge of the park is basically the base of the mountains over there. Beautiful area, beautiful spot. It's been a hectic last few days as I've been running around, finishing up everything I wanted to get done in the LA area, meeting up with other people. It's been fun, but I'm excited to get back to our more or less regular scheduled programming as we head in the next video solo into the national park for some fun exploring. Trona Pinnacles was such a fun place to see again. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely one of the more iconic locations of the Western United States. And like I said earlier, one of the great free dispersed camping areas in the country. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.